So we're gonna manually fill the tank and the doser. As I mentioned earlier, this cap can be removed, and to tell what level this thing will be filled out, it's actually this big. This is if you look at it, this is going to be the shortest pin, even though this one's real close to it. But this is the shorter one. Okay. Um, uh, Normally I would clean all this off, this crud, but for testing purposes. So we're gonna fill it up to where it touches this probe. We can go a little over, no big deal. So I'm just taking regular water and filling this up. Generally speaking, there's usually a water line, like a stain. Like you can see some here on the side. But we're just gonna stick this down and see if it touches the probe. If it goes over, no big deal. Okay, so a lot more water. Okay, almost touching, a little bit more. Oh, okay, I forgot about that. There's actually a drain here that will drain down and go down if you overfill it. So let's just fill it up to that point. Okay, so now it's right at the edge. And sure enough, the probe is in there. Okay, so you can see the water dripping down. Okay, so we're gonna put this back on, and okay, and then we're gonna remove the anti-eddy valve or the vacuum valve. Now this goes straight to the sight glass. So there's a sight glass here. Let me tilt this up. You can see, let me see, can you see it there under my hand? Right where my finger's pointing. There's a sight glass. There's a little green ball in there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill it up. There's actually an indicator. I'm gonna move this. So sorry for the shake up. But there's actually a line there. So we're gonna fill this up all the way up to that line. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna need more water. Okay, so we're gonna remove the vacuum valve. Okay. So this is the anti-eddy valve, and as you can see, it moves. There's a little O-ring. So if this thing leaks, you just change the O-ring. I have a video for this. Okay. Anyway, so put this on the side. Don't lose the gasket. Okay. And then I'm just gonna head fill careful. Like I said, got too much water. Okay. Okay. You know, there's probably a faster way to fill this. I'm gonna put this back. Oops. I'm gonna put this back. It's filling too slowly. So I'm gonna remove the water level probe plug. Okay, so that's removed. And I'll remove the whole probe. Okay. Now, there's a video on this, on checking this water level probe. It's a good idea. I'm going to check it right now. Since I'm going to have it open. You know, if you already having things open, you might also check it. And like I said, it's to save time. You might want to clean it or whatever needs to be done at the time. Okay, well, we're just going through basics right now. We're not gonna spend the time cleaning or whatever unless it's really bad. So as you can see, the Pro's clean. There's no white crust on it. You could take a little sandpaper to this to make sure it's bare metal, but I can feel it. It's pretty clean. Okay, so now I can fill the tank directly without having to go through the. Of course, it'd be nice to have a funnel, but let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna fill a certain amount, and I know the tank was really empty because, like I said, I had just opened the hot water valve and just let the whole thing drain out. And even though it doesn't take all the water out, it takes out most of it. Okay, so go ahead and check the water bulb. It's like halfway. Okay. Let's check the water. Oh, okay. Getting close, a little bit more. We don't want to go over the max. We just want to be near it. Okay, so this is just below the max. Okay, so water probe is clean. So there's make sure the washer's there. And I'm just gonna, now this probe can go up and down to adjust the level in the tank. Right now it's pretty much set all the way down. The reason why it's set so low is you want to be able to get as much steam out of this as possible, or hot water in this case, as possible. But you don't want to go so low that you expose the elements. Okay, there's a minimum line indicated, so it's set right at that minimum line. The reason why we do that is so that when you take hot water, the water will drop, but you don't want it to drop so low that it's above it exposes the elements, because if it exposes the heat elements, it'll cause the elements to kind of overheat. Okay, so we try to minimize that by making sure it doesn't go below the minimum level. Okay, and that's where the water probe adjustment is important. Okay, so as you can see, this position is pretty low. Okay, if you go too high, what happens is it touches the top of the pan. Okay, so you got to watch that. You can't go too high. Plus, it raises the water in the tank, and if there's really little room for steam, when you steam, you might not have enough steam to steam a whole container of milk. Okay, now this is kind of big for this size machine. This is the biggest frother I would use for this machine. I mean, you're going pretty much at the limit here. There's a good chance you might run out of steam. I know this machine can handle this particular one. It's a trial and error thing. So you try to get a frothing cup, pitcher in this case, to match the size of the machine. If this was a double head machine, the tank would be a lot bigger, and you could go with something that's even bigger than this. Okay, so the amount of steam depends on the amount of water the water level in the tank. Okay, so if I wanted to get less steam, I would raise this. The advantage of raising this is I get more hot water for tea. So if I'm doing a lot of tea, I'll raise this up to give me more hot water. But in this particular case, since I rarely drink Americanos, if I have an espresso machine working, I might do a double. But in most cases, I don't use that much hot water. No, only the wife takes hot water with her Americano. So I don't need that much hot water. But if I was making a lot of tea, I would raise this probe to get more water instead of steam. Okay. Now, you can go the opposite end. You can have a lot of steam, and like for example, you do a lot of frothing, so you don't want to raise the water level. Um, then what you can do is, if you need hot water, a lot of hot water, take a clean frothing pitcher, fill it with water, and then or even lukewarm water, and then froth it so it's nice and hot. So you can do it that way too. Okay, that way you don't have to compromise with choosing between hot water or a lot of steam. Okay, so we got the tank full, we got the dosing tank full, and let's go on to the next video.